Hi, so today is Thursday, June 27th. So in the morning, I hopped in the truck and drove to Kitchen, Ontario, where they have this. It used to be an automotive plant, and now it's totally, torn down. And they have this truck scale, like industrial scale, and it consists of 4 platforms. And they're about 22 feet long, about 30,000 pounds. And they ordered 4 trucks, and I carry just one piece. It's 11 feet wide and maybe only a couple of feet tall. So it really, not too bad in terms of securement and stuff like that. Relatively light. The only problem is I go there and the guy picks up this thing. It's 11 feet wide, so they have to use the chains on the forklift to lift it up, and then they have a smaller forklift just to kind of the insurance on the opposite side. So they lift this big piece, like a big platform, right, 22 by 11, and they tell me back under it so that they can lower it on my trailer. And I drove there, everything was fine. I started in the morning, was fine. Now I get in the truck, I turn the key, and there's just a click. Not like a series of clicks when your starter is bad, but yeah, sorry for the noise. I'm at a coffee shop here. But just what happened last time when I was in the States somewhere. Remember when my truck was dead for like 2 hours? So I turn the key and everything on the dashboard disappears. And I'm like, oh my! So what am I gonna do now? Because these guys are waiting for me. They're telling me to back my trailer. They back my trailer back to the forklift. So there's a couple of guys talking here very loud, and I cannot start. Anyway, so the guy comes over. He says, "So what's going on?" And he's kind of a mechanic because his forklift they were having some problems with their very old forklift. Something with the starter, by the way, the same thing, right? So he comes over and he said, "Open the hood." I opened the hood, and I finally now at least I know where the starter is, right? And he says, "You have a hammer?" I say, "Yeah, sure." So I give him a hammer, like thinking, "What the heck?" And he starts hammering, just tapping lightly that cylinder with the solenoid. What is called? Just basically a part of the starter on top of the starter. And he says, "Try now." I turn the key, and he says, "Well, you got a bad solenoid. So it's not contacts, it's not cables, it's the solenoid." And of course now I booked 2 trips, right? So I can't afford to just hope that the truck will start each morning, or what happens if I shut down somewhere for a lunch break or something, right? Because I'm going to Tennessee, and now everything is already pre-booked. From Tennessee I go to Kentucky, and then I go loaded to Alberta. It's like lots of miles. I need the truck to perform. So I called CAT, the local Caterpillar deal. I said, "How much is that, solenoid thing?" The guy took my VIN number, and because it's an international part, of course, and that's why I hate having the truck and engine from different manufacturers. This happens every time, like the engine in my truck is by CAT, but the actual truck, the chassis, everything else, like the dashboard, the starter, air dry, it's all by International. And so this guy had to call International, another dealer, and find out the pricing for that part. Uh, so I'm just saying that it's always better, in my opinion, when you have the truck and engine from the same company, because then you can go and have that problem fixed at the one shop. Let's say if you have a Freightliner and you have a Detroit engine, you're laughing, or you have a Volvo with a Volvo engine, you're not laughing, but you still only have to go to one shop. But anyway, so he calls me back and he says, "Well, there's no one stocks just the solenoid anymore, because now they sell just the assembly starter with the solenoid." And I said, "How much is that?" He says, "Oh, $350." Well, that doesn't sound too bad, unless he starts to explain to me. I said, "So what about labor? How much you guys charge?" And the cat here says, 120 an hour. I should have gone to international because they charge only 106 per hour. But you know, it's farther away, and then I'm stuck there forever. At least here, I'm next to a hotel, and the entire Cambridge. So I just checked in at the hotel for another night. So he says it can be 2 hours labor, can be 2.5, or he says it depends how bad how much corrosion you have on the bolts and nuts, how difficult it is to remove that starter, because he says sometimes it can be a nightmare. But basically, I'm probably looking at about $800. So, so there's no way I'm selling this truck now, because the batteries are like 3 months old. The alternator is 3 months old. They have new tires. They have new rims on the back. Now I'm gonna have the new starter. What else is there? Maybe the fuel lines. That's what they say. They recommend replacing fuel lines after 700,000 miles. But I don't know. That's what usually fails, right? Starter, batteries, alternator. Oh, one more thing probably I'll have to replace, maybe even by the end of this year, is air compressor, because it's been making some noises, and I know one guy told me that if the compressor makes too much noise when it pumps air, it means that it's getting worn out. But I've been hearing that noise for the past 2 years, and that air compressor is still pumping, and it's an original compressor that I got with my 2004 truck. So it's like, what is it? 2004, 6, 7 years old. Anyway, so I'm gonna pick up my truck sometime tomorrow. I already have the load. I dropped the trailer in the cat's yard, and I'm gonna start trucking. And the main goal is to get out of Michigan by the end of Friday, because Michigan does not allow travel on the weekend with 11-foot wide load. So as long as I'm out of Michigan by the end of Friday, everything's fine, because Ohio and Kentucky don't care. You can drive on Saturday and Sunday, but Tennessee does not allow weekend driving. So basically, I'm thinking I'll shut down in Kentucky right before the border with Tennessee, and just then leave first thing at the daylight on Monday morning. And my delivery place is right there, maybe like 80 miles, 100 miles from the border with Kentucky. So at least now I'm making some money. So at least I can afford this repair thanks to this you know good Alberta trip. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned.